Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a flashlight video for you. Today, we're taking a look at a fairly well-known AA flashlight. This is the Thrunite Archer 1A version 3. Now, there are a number of videos out there about this, but you guys specifically asked a while back, and I guess this is partly an apology as an introduction here. A while back, I asked what you guys would like to see on the channel, and one of the things that came out was, number one, more flashlight videos, but number two, a couple of you said, hey, we'd like to hear about some good AA flashlights, and I totally get that. I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna share a bias of mine right now. I do prefer CR123 lights. Yes, they're a little more expensive, and yes, the batteries are a little more expensive, but in terms of convenience of carry and in terms of power output for size, I find these are about the best. Now, I do know that CR123 batteries can be a pain in the neck, although I will say you can buy them in large numbers on Amazon. That's what I normally do. And make sure you buy the good ones, guys. Buy the Olight or buy the branded, good quality CR123 batteries. Anyway, that's a different discussion for a different day, but I just wanted to give that by way of explanation. That's why I haven't delivered, I guess, on my promise to give you guys more flashlights and more AA flashlights. But I know about it, it's on my list, and I totally plan to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about this specific light. Number one, this is obviously the version 3. So there's been 2 other iterations of this. I think the biggest change is the mode selector button up here. But I'm not going to get into a big, long, detailed discussion of all of the other lights. Let's just focus on this one and try to get an idea of whether or not this is useful for you. So with that in mind, I've tried to keep this pretty simple. The first thing I'm going to talk about is size. Okay, how big is this and how hard is it to carry? Well, it's not huge, okay? But that is one of the drawbacks I find with the AA lights. They tend to be a little larger and not provide a huge amount of power. But let's give you the numbers. So this is just over 4 inches. In fact, it's 4 3/16. Let me just give you my open hand with the light in it. That should give you an idea of how big this light is. I have a size large glove, okay? So if you're around that size, that's how big the light is going to be for you. The diameter on this is 3/4 of an inch, and that's measured up here at the bezel. There's a couple wider points, so it might go up to 7/8 of an inch in some places. All right, and the weight on this is 2.4 ounces, and that of course is with the battery in it. I'm not sure why you would measure without the battery in it. So, how does it carry? It carries pretty well, but not amazing, if that makes sense. And that changes a little bit whether or not you clip it to your pocket. I tend to, a smaller light like this, I like to just drop it in my pocket, but this is almost a little bit too long for that because it'll fall over sideways and kind of get awkward. That's, again, why I kind of like the CR123 size. If you clip this to your pocket, it is a little more comfortable and it works quite nicely that way. Now we will get to some comparisons in a couple of minutes, and I'll be able to say more about that in terms of, carrying this light versus other options that are out there. All right, so first off, how big is it and how well does it carry? Well, it's about 4 inches long and it carries reasonably well, but it's definitely something you're going to have to make allowances for, okay? You may have to change your carry habits or figure out what pocket I can clip this to that doesn't interfere with anything else that I've got. It's made of aircraft grade aluminum. It's 1.5 meter, that's a 1.5 meter impact resistant, and it's also 1.5 meter water resistant. So they call that IPX8 water resistant. Okay. So yeah, if you drop this, it's going to be okay. If you drop it in a puddle, it's still going to be okay. If you try to go diving with it, it's not going to be okay. All right, so pretty simple stuff there. The brightness here, this goes up to 200 lumens. That's at the brightest setting. And it does have, basically 4 settings plus strobe. So firefly, low, medium, high, and strobe. The power source, of course, is a AA battery or a 14500, which I suppose would be the rechargeable option. So what I'm going to do now, before I get into the actual specs of this, or the actual like run times and lumen count and stuff, I'll roll in some beam shots, then I'll give you the brightness settings. So go ahead and take a look. Here we are outside with some beam shots. Hey guys, just out here in the backyard, I want to give you a couple of quick beam shots on the Thrunite Archer A1 V3. I'm going to start off in low, which you won't be able to see, and we'll just slowly work our way up here. There you go, now we got a little more light, and there it is on high. So you can see it's not a super bright light. If I compare it to a couple of other lights, I'll just shut this off and leave it on high so you can do more of a direct comparison. There it is compared to the Olight S Mini. You can see the S Mini is a little floodier. There is the Olight SR2 baton. And then one, I do have a 1000 lumen light here as well. This is the WowTac A15 V2. So you can see there's quite a big difference. One last time. Hold on. There's the WowTac. And there's the Thrunite. Alright guys, so there you go. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so now that we've got that beam shots covered, let's go ahead and talk about the various settings that this has and how long it will run for with, of course, a fresh battery. So the modes are Firefly. By the way, the mode selector is really easy to deal with. So I'm going to turn this on. It's on Firefly now, so then if I push the side button, it's going to get a little bit brighter and go up to low. Press it again, it's going to go to medium, then it's going to go to high, and then it's going to go back to Firefly. If I long press this, it goes to strobe. So that's the function of the light, pretty straightforward. Let me give you a quick rundown. It's on Firefly right now, and on Firefly it will run for 17 days. If you go up to the low mode, which is 17 lumens, it'll run for 22 hours. If you go up to medium, which is 75 lumens, it'll run for 5 hours. And if you go up to high, which is 200 lumens, it will run for 115 minutes. All right, so not bad runtime, and certainly, you know, Here's what I would say about any light like this, guys. If you're gonna run a light of this kind, if this is gonna be like your EDC light, I would want to keep at least one, probably two, you know, they sell batteries in packs of 2. I would keep a pack of batteries, you know, in my car. I would keep one in my EDC bag. I would want to make sure that there's no chance of me running through this battery and not having another one to put in it, okay? That's just me. You guys can kind of figure out what you want. You can, you know, if you want to change the battery often, or, you know, buy a high-end, you know, one of the good Energizer or Duracell batteries. Energizer, I think, has the long life batteries, the lithium ions, and they probably would perform a little better. They might even give you a little tweak of brightness. I'm not sure about that. But that's how long this is going to last with your typical AA battery. And I want to go ahead and get into some comparisons now. And with that, we'll also talk about price. So here is the AA size light, the Thrunite Archer V3. Here is the UltraTac K18. This is a AAA light. Here's the Olight S Mini. It's a CR123 light. And one more light that I feel like is similar. Here is the Olight Baton. Which one is this? R2, I believe. S2. Let's get that right. Olight Baton S2. Now, here's the thing that kind of puts me off of AA lights. Now, the argument is, and it's a legitimate argument, okay, guys, and you'll have to make up your own mind, but the argument is, with a light like this, one, the light initially costs a little bit less, and AA battery lights usually do cost a little bit less, and the batteries cost less and are more available. Okay, so that's a big argument. I totally get that there's huge value in being able to walk into any Walmart, any grocery store, any gas station, and get batteries for your light. However, if you notice the size on these two, the S2 Baton and the Archer V3, you can see that they're very similar in size. The S2 Baton is about an inch in diameter, so it's a little bit bigger, but honestly, if you're carrying either one of these in pocket, it's basically taking up the same amount of space. The difference is you're gonna get like 1,000 lumens out of this, and you're gonna get 200 out of this. All right, that's the difference. Now, the other thing is, I haven't tested all of these lights this way, but I can tell you this S2 will really take a beating, and I know that because I forgot it in my pocket and put it through the wash. And I know some of you have heard that story before, but it doesn't hurt to tell it again. So this is where I feel like AA lights suffer, because there are some really slim 18650 lights that are really, really tightened down so that there's not much more room than just what the battery needs. And that makes this a very attractive option in comparison. Now it does cost, I think, about twice as much. This is about, $40 Canadian, and this is probably about $60 Canadian, maybe $80 Canadian. And so all I'm trying to do with this is give you enough information to decide for yourself. Now, if you're happy with the lower lumen count, then going to a CR123 light is honestly another really, really good option. These tend to be a little cheaper, so they're closer in price. I think this would be probably around $50 for the standard black version, and this is $40. So for $10 more plus, okay, now there is a plus here, guys, plus the extra cost of batteries. And the 8CR13s, wait, the CR123s do cost more. Okay, so I want to be fair and be clear about that. But again, I feel like the trade-off in terms of size to power, it leads me to lean a little more toward this, all right? So let's take this one finally out of the way. And now there is the little AA lights or AAA lights. These guys are of limited use. I mean, hey, this has saved my butt a couple of times, okay? Because I kind of forget that I have it. And so I have needed a light and been like, oh wait, I've got the Ultratac, and I run to my bag and grab it. And so it has saved my life a couple of times, and it's definitely a good light. But I always think if I had to depend on this for anything serious, it wouldn't really hold up. And so that's my thought on the really small light. But again, it is an option, and of course a very budget friendly option. I think those are like 15 bucks or $20 or something like that. All right, so there you go, guys. Those are some of the other sort of competitive lights out there and some of the options that you have in terms of size. Otherwise, though, in regular everyday use, and I have actually carried this around quite a bit. I try to make a special habit of it, or a special effort to do that in preparation for a review. I have found this light does carry comfortably, and that it is definitely extremely useful. And so if you're not wanting to spend the money on something like this or something like this, hey, at least you've got a light. And I think a AA light is a good option in terms of just, it's big enough to do most of what you need. So I hope that helps you guys. Check the description box for links to Amazon.ca and Amazon.com, where you can pick one of these up for yourself, and that does help the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.